Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel, to my stream. Yep. So just starting again, another episode. This is still uh, like streaming. Yesterday was actually I reposted one of my first videos onto the YouTube. Um, so yeah, no, I mean something new every day, right? So today what I wanted to talk about, but I mean honestly I've been thinking about it since this morning, and it was just something that stuck in my mind. It's about the so I saw this video. It's about how PewDiePie, for instance, most of you guys know. I mean, actually everybody knows him. He's a legendary YouTuber, right? It's about how he literally went to Japan and found himself over there and started pursuing his passions, or just like people usually call it side quests, right? Just living his life. Most of the people say, you know what, like if I would have that much money, I would do the same thing, right? But at the same time, PewDiePie has not always been this popular. He actually worked for it, and that's something I actually can relate to, in a sense of, I mean, you think about it, most of the people that complain about not having the money can do something about it, actually, right? So, for instance, for me, though, uh, think of it this way: when I was I was most people see it and might see it as something that, to look down upon, right? But at the same time, while I was working at my 9 to 5 job, I was doing DoorDash at the same time, right? So, and I did DoorDash all the way until I started my own business, because like when you have your own business, yeah, obviously you have to focus on that, but at the same time you need money to live. And I had no backing, no one was supporting me, and people close to me know that I used to, sometimes just to pay for the phone bill, I would DoorDash like for 14 hours a day, and make the living out of it, right? So it's and that's why I see. So money in this day and age, especially among the Gen Zs, maybe among like my generation, it feels like an excuse rather than a tool, right? So what most of the books and like self-help books, self-development books from the past century teach is that money is a tool, right? Or money is an energy, some of them would say. And that's not something that I completely disagree with. In a sense of, you attract what you, uh, if you'll be attractive, right? So if you'll be attractive enough, obviously anything can come to you towards your way, and that's the way I see it. I mean, in fact, sometimes I still, like I still tell myself, just something that I believe we humans are just programmed to do. Um, it's my apologies. It's something that I myself personally, how can I put it? I tell myself sometimes, you know what, if I would have like, let's say, $10 million right now, I would go ahead and, start this, do that, and I would quadruple that money. But at the same time, there's a reason why I don't have that money. That means I just did not work for it properly, right? So some people might say, oh, you know what, you're just not destined for it. Let me give you an example from my grandfather. Grandpa, for instance, right? He had very influential people in his life, people that were billionaires back in Turkey, for instance, right? Billionaires, millionaires, very rich people, very successful people. My grandpa, on the other hand, he raised his kids in obscurity. He had no money. In fact, he had pretty fast life, so to say. He, a lot of adventures over there, right? And it's, how can I put it? Uh, when I look back into it, I'm like, Grandpa, if you would have done something about it, you would have actually given me completely different life at the same time. But then, if that would happen, I would not be who I am today, right? But even now, he's almost 80. He's in fact 79 this year, and what he tells me still is that, oh, you know what, you should not be focusing on like money or work that much. You have to have some spirituality in it, right? So the way I see it is, as it's actually, it's not that stupid. He's in a sense right, correct, but at the same time, not making, for instance, that income, or not making that financial stability or financial freedom for your family, is at the same time is irresponsible something to do, right? That was something that my father never did. He was always responsible, but although he physically, I mentioned in the previous episodes, I have not really seen my father throughout my childhood because he was constantly working. But obviously, we started bonding after I turned it came to my 20s, right? And obviously, right now, that I'm 26, right, I'm barely at home. I can actually relate to him in a sense. I mean, he did what he had to do, right? But my grandpa was on a different side, and I see where he's coming from as well. But I disagree, right? By the way, this is Cotton. She decided to hang out in this episode as well. She felt lonely a little bit. So yeah, but like, the more you look at your life, for instance, the more I look at my life, the more I realize that money was not never the case for me to stop, right? So at some point I was like, you know what, why the heck would I work for something like that? In fact, that happened after I got my meningitis. I was working at Bucky's at that time, and I actually somehow got meningitis. I fell. I was in hospital for 2 weeks. Thankfully, I was just, you know, on time in a sense, and uh, it just like it opened my eyes to into life. Like I was like, you know what, I could have achieved so much more if I would die from meningitis today. What did I do for people to remember me in the future? I have not achieved or done anything in my life, right? So then I was like, you know what? Let me do something. Um, I decided to fix myself, but at the same time, I got those pills from the doctor because my headaches did not go away. It was pretty hard. I couldn't keep up. After I was already already like uh, already left hospital, and my head was hurting so much. I asked for them pills. I said, you know what, like, give me something, so like, whatever, antibiotics, whatever you need to give me, right? So she gave me them, and I was working at Bucky's. And one day when and I read in the on this bottle of pills, it was saying that you will have suicidal thoughts, possibly, right? And you know, I did think to myself. I was just, what do you call, cleaning the floors, and I thought to myself at that very moment, I said, why am I working so hard? Like, I genuinely thought about it for myself. I was like, why am I thinking about it? And is it actually, like, maybe I should just send it? At the end of the day, all of us are gonna die one day. And I was like, you know what? I might as well die right now. Those were my thoughts at that time. I'm pretty sure it was because of those pills. I got home, um, and I told my little brother, you know what? Maybe I should just end it. You know, and he got so angry. he slapped my he slapped me. He goes like, "Are you stupid? Like, what the fuck are you talking about?" And so on and so forth. And he goes like, "Get your shit together." He took the pills away from me. He just threw him into the, what do you call it, toilet, and he just flushed them. He said, "Be a fucking man." So it actually, I came to my senses. I was like, "What the fuck was I doing?" Right? Like, I like, my headaches were gone already. Like, I did not know. So it just, I came to my senses, and I just realized, I'm telling you, just that there's so much to the life. It's so much more what you can achieve in life, right? And And that's why I believe blaming something like money when you're on your life being unsuccessful is, you know, it's not a good thing, right? It's not going to move you forward. It's, you know, how can I put it? Here's the deal. What the way people do it is, they need people either way. Like it's obviously it's not only not. I'm not excluding myself. I do the same thing. It's as I mentioned it before. It's because we're human, right? We blame, for instance, something like money, and it makes it not our fault if we have something to blame. So it's like just, like holding on to this one last thing just to not blame ourselves, just to not hurt. It's like survival instinct, right? We don't want to hurt ourselves, and I do believe that it's a very wrong thinking, and I would suggest to anyone who wants to, like fix themselves for the future, and that's going to be the best, like and that's going to be a good thing, a good thought to ponder about, right? So it's just, like, how can I put it? If when you don't take responsibility for the actions that you made or the actions that you did will make in the future, it's not going to hurt your ego. And whenever your ego does not hurt, it's just, like you feel safe, you feel comfortable. And I believe that's the biggest trap out there, right? So it hurts less than freaking acting, right? Or saying I didn't act. It's what people really mean by blaming money. In a sense, it's like fear of looking stupid, or like falling failing publicly, or maybe fear of starting and being average, or fear of consistency, right? It's just money is the cleanest excuse we have because it's something that we might not have. So it's easier to blame something that you don't have, or you don't believe in, or you don't see, right? So in a sense, that's why sometimes we blame rich people, or we blame, I don't know, celebrities or politicians, because it's just the power that they have with that money. We do not have it. So it's easier to blame that for you being unsuccessful in life, right? It's, how can I put it? Your real examples, right? How can I put it? I want to give you good examples about it. That's why I'm sorry. I'm just thinking, and as I mentioned before, I do not have no scripts or nothing. I'm just talking. Um, how can I put it? So, for instance, let me give you an example from uh, my life. For instance, I stream right now, and maximum, like, I only have one person that's just constantly watching me over here, right? Just one, and I've been doing it for maybe what, like a week and a half, or maybe 2 weeks at this point, right? But I've been doing it, and there's no progress, right? But I still do it, and or maybe starting some kind of content with zero validation, or maybe building things while financially stressed, right? Those are all something that I did, and that's why I'm like, I can confidently say that I did something, and hence why I can give you an example and give you an advice on that part, right? um it's, if the money was the real problem, I wouldn't be here talking to a camera right now. And I learned how to get away from that trap, and that's why I suggest to people always to not fall into it as well. In fact, I heard about that, about Rockefeller, John D. Rockefeller, that he had not, like, he forbade his family to speak about being poor, broke, or having no money, or any unsuccessful or negative thing by the table, because he believed that that thing is gonna start is gonna get stuck generationally over there, which I did apply in my household as well. I mean, with my grandparents and my parents and my little brother, I completely tell them, I say, look, like, let's not talk business over here. Let's talk business in the office or in the room, or does not matter, right? As long as it's not by the food. let's talk positive, let's make each other laugh, let's give each other information. That's what the family lunch or dinner is for, right? So it's not that I would say, don't say money does not matter. It does matter because at the end of the day, it's a tool that we use on a daily basis. It just you can say money accelerates, right, or money amplifies, or I don't know, money does not initiate, right? Like those are the is type of words that you could use, and wording is very important when you address something like that because I forgot that gentleman's name. But that's a quote that he says all the time: is that the money is an energy, right? It's the same way as electricity, and it's better to attract the energy properly instead of just doing like saying stupid shit, right? So it's just like uh, m- it's money doesn't, how can I put it? Money doesn't attract. No, money doesn't create motion. Motion attracts money, right? So the more you move, the more you act, something either way is gonna come towards you, right? Um, One of the best examples I can give you in that aspect is gonna be about, for instance, me again. I will give you guys all the time examples from myself. I will never share or tell you about something confidently that I have not done or did not experience myself. Obviously, I can give my thoughts, but not something like, oh, you know what, you gotta do it this way. Um, the best, the best case study or like best example of motion attracting something is my story at 7-Eleven when I was still in college. I was working for $11 an hour at 7-Eleven, and then I decided to, you know what, let me buy myself a motorcycle. And sure, I did buy a motorcycle. It's just I could not pay for it. So that shit was expensive. It was financially stupid move by me, right? And so I started looking for a job. And there was this old gentleman. Still, I have tremendous amount of respect for him, Mr. Greg. He would come to the store 7-Eleven at on Saturdays, every Saturday at like 4 or 5 a.m. So I would assume that guy were he's, I don't know, he had a Sharif mustache, like those big ones. He would have a bandana, he would have a hat, right? And he would wear these camel pants, camel cargo pants, and he would wear like like crew neck and stuff, right? And I would think, like that guy, most likely he works in a gun store or something, right? Like, I mean, he looked that way, so I assumed he was there, like, you know. And I was like, one day when I was still looking for a job on Saturday, in fact, I obviously, I told him, Mr. Greg, you know what? Like, I buy myself a motorcycle. He goes like, "Oh, really, Jimmy? Well, what motorcycle?" And I showed him the motorcycle, and he goes, "Oh, that's cool." And I'm like, "Yeah, sir. Just now I'm looking for a new job." It was like to pay for the bike, and I'm like, exactly. Yeah, so he goes like, okay, like, have you tried Bucky's? And I'm like, you know what? I have not. And like, I did go to them before I applied to 7-Eleven, but they did not even call me for an interview. I was like, oh, dang. And then I was like, I thought to myself, you know what? If he sells guns, I can sell guns too. Like, in working in a gun store seems, I mean, better than nothing. So I might as well do that. So I was like, hey, Mr. Greg, you know what? Where do you work at? You know? And he goes like, he looked at me. He didn't say anything. He just looked at me. He smiled. He pulled out his Bucky's business card. So for those that don't know, Bucky's is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, gas station in the world. Like, and chain wise, it's originated from Texas. In fact, from Lake Jackson. Um, and it's a pretty big company. And it's getting bigger day by day. Love their food. It's a pride of Texas, right? And by the way, they have the cleanest restrooms out there too. So um, I was so none of the, even like the general managers or nothing like that, they can't get the, if I'm not mistaken, general managers. I might be mistaken about that, but as far as I'm concerned, except for the executives or the corporate guys, like higher ups, nobody can really get a business card from Bucky's. So when I saw it, I was like, dang. And then I looked at his, like at his position. I forgot what his position was. If I'm not mistaken, he was the general director of the marketing or some or sales or stuff. And I was like, dang. I looked at him like with my eyes open. He goes like, and Jimmy, just tell me which Bucky's you want to work at. And I'm like, you know what, down and that one down the street. He's like, and down there. And I'm like, yeah. And he was like, okay, like just go there, and I'm gonna call them. And you just go there and apply. So I went there, and right after I finished with my shift, I went to the Bucky's. I was like, hey, you know what, like, I was sent here. I was told to look for this general manager, and I would like to apply. You know, so they told me, oh, you know what, like, okay, let's get you to an interview. They got me through an interview, but the general manager is not here. So, okay, when he's gonna be here, we don't know. He's on a vacation, and I'm like, okay, but they go like, you know, he's gonna be soon here, and I'm like, okay, fine, that's it. So I worked another week at Bucky's. I'm so sorry, at 7-Eleven, and here came Saturday, and Mr. Greg came in. He looked at me. He goes like, Jimmy, what the heck are you doing here? And I'm like, no, sorry, just I went there. They told me to that the general manager is not there, and they told me to wait until he comes back. He got so angry. He goes like, I told them to get you to the job. Why the hell, like, you're not there? Like, what the fuck are they doing? And blah blah. He got very angry, and he was like, "You know what, Jimmy? Don't when you get home, like whatever the time, like you go home. When you get home, do not fall asleep. Don't sleep. Wait a call from them. They're gonna call you." So I was just laying down. I was waiting the call. I was like, you know what? Let me see what's gonna happen. They told me you're gonna get onto the onboarding. So that's my story how I got into the Buckies. I made a couple of mistakes. I admit them. I did mess up, and understandably, Mr. Greg got disappointed in me. Those were the mistakes that I did when I was young, obviously, and I regret them deeply. I wish I could reconnect with Mr. Greg and apologize to him face to face, but unfortunately, I was not able to get connected with them anymore, right? So that was something that I deeply regret, and I'm not scared to tell you guys this over the stream or face to face for that matter. I was young back then. Obviously, I was younger, and many mistakes I made happen. Mistakes are in the past. You just learn from them. You just don't you don't make them again, right? So Mm, after this, honestly, it's how can I put it? I I decided to, you know, to just fix myself, and it was something that I still think about it to this day. I still respect deeply Mr. Greg. It was, but the main story, and the main reason why I told you this story is to tell you, if I would not have worked properly and I would not have done my job properly at 7-Eleven, and Mr. Greg would not like me as a person, he would not have offered me that job. So I acted, maybe unconsciously, maybe I was doing my job, just doing my job, and just that, just me working there was good enough action for me to get something. And that was always the biggest proof for me. And that's why I believe even if you do DoorDash, you're still moving, you're still acting. One day you can make $200, $300 a day. That's something, no cashier job, no janitorial job, no construction job might give you. And that's good enough money. And that's money that, and that's job actually that you can connect to. It might be, and I'm giving you guys example as DoorDash just to give you an example. It can be anything else that you believe that's gonna be. a good support for you on your journey to maybe financial freedom, right? And no matter what whoever says, obviously there are a lot of gurus out there that talk about it, how you need to be independent, blah blah blah, and whatever. But I don't want to be like that. It's just I want to, if possible, if I can, with my actions and with my talks on the streams, if I can just give some people some sort of hope, the ones that maybe in the, like at the stages of their lives where they don't know what they're doing, or maybe they're lost. Trust me, I've been there, and I know how it feels. And if I can just, even uh, motivate someone, or just make them think about what they can do, that's going to be good enough for me. And that's exactly actually why I started the streaming business, and that was the main point actually. And here I am now, talking to you guys and telling you guys my stories, right? So yeah, just this is gonna be it honestly for today. Um, I was not really planning for to sit for too long today. Anyway, I gotta wake up early tomorrow. But ask yourself tonight, right? If someone handed you money tomorrow, would you actually act on it, or would you find a new excuse? Is Let me tell you this: most likely, very most likely, you would not act at all, and that includes me as well. If that money is something that I have not worked for, the money that I do not know the value of, the money that I'm not ready for, maybe uh, with my knowledge or maybe my character, that means that money is gonna go to waste, 1,000%. There's reason why people say that, no, rich people, even if they go broke, they'll figure out how to get back up, and that's how that works. And because it's not that they figured out the game, it's just they know how to act with money, right? So uh, just I would say I want to be one of those people, and I will be. I believe it. In fact, me recording it is the biggest proof of it. And maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not the day after tomorrow, but soon. Eventually, I will reach my goals, right? And I wish you guys the same. And I wish you great nights, and talk to you guys tomorrow, right?